Okay, so we're going to do a Google form. So I'm going to start by going to my TUSD to sign in. And then this takes me to Google Drive. So then I'm going to do New. And then I'm going to go to Google Forms. So I can give the form a title. So I'll just say Reader's Workshop. And then I can start adding questions. So it already has one question there set up for you to edit. And you can change it. So I always like to do name for the first one. And right now it's set up to multiple choice, but I'm going to change it to text. So this is the question type, and really that's the type of answer that they're going to give you. So you can change it to paragraph text would be like if they're typing a couple sentences, multiple choice, checkbox, all those things. And then make sure you click required question, which means that they have to answer it before they can move on. They can't submit the form without it. So then I can do done. And then I can add another item. So if I just press add item, it'll be the same kind of item that I just did. Or if I delete that, I can click on the down arrow and then I can choose from here if I want it to be something different. So I can actually put an image in. So especially for like the younger kids, like if you need an image to support them so they understand, you can put an image. You can even put a video. So if you want to flip a lesson, you could put the video in the form and then they can ask questions from there. You can also do a header. You can have multiple pages. So you can play around with that stuff. And then up here, this is always automatically checked, required Tustin Unified District login, which means that they have to use their like Haiku login to access it. But if you want this to be a quick assessment, then you might want to uncheck that just so that they can get the form and quickly fill it out. And then it's going to ask, are you sure you want to do that? Press OK. If you do check that, you could also check automatically collect their username, so then you wouldn't have to do a name question for your first one. So especially if you embed it into Haiku and they're already signing into Haiku, it'll recognize their username because it's still their Google account. And so then that would be a time where you could do require and automatically collect. So then I'll do another one. I'll do paragraph text this time. Say, so you have help text. So you can have the question, and then if you need to give more information, that's where you would put the help text to kind of explain what you're asking them. So then I could put done. So now, right now, I'm making one for inferences, so I might want to go back and change this so that I remember that this one is for inferences. And then you can see it changes it here too. So if I plan on doing a lot of forms for Reader's Workshop, then I would want to make sure that I specify. So then I could do another one. With some help text and done. So now you can see with this one, there's the little red star next to it because it's required. These aren't required, but I can always go back in by just clicking it and then checking required question. So sometimes, like if you have, at the end of the form, do you have any questions, and maybe they don't, you would make that a non-required question. But usually you want to make sure that they're all required because kids will forget to put the answers in there, and then they'll submit a half-done form. And then I can do another one. And make sure it's required, and then done. And one thing that I like is the scale. So this is another good way to check in. So you could say, like, did you like this story? Or how well did you understand this lesson? Or can you teach this to somebody else? So you can use the scale for that. And then there are these options here. So the pencil one is for edit, which we're in edit mode right now. This one is for copy or duplicate, so it'll just copy that question. And then you also have delete. So I'm going to delete that one because I don't need it. So now that I'm done, this is the text that comes up once they've submitted. So if you want to change this, you can. Like if you have shared devices, you can say, thank you for your response. Please pass the iPad to the next person. Or thank you for your response. Please raise your hand, or some kind of direction that you want to give them. Or you could just say, thanks. And then you have a couple options. So you can do show link to submit another response. So if you are sharing devices, you could do that. If you only want them, like if it's a formal test and you only want them to do one response, you can uncheck that. You can also click this one to see that to see what the other results were that from other students. So if you're doing like a discussion, you're trying to get a bunch of answers from different kids, then you can click that so they can see what the responses were from everybody else. And then you can also allow them to edit their response after submitting. So depending on what kind of activity you have, you can do that. So you can see up here it says responses 0. And if it's your first time, then you're going to set up your response destination. I've already done that, so it does it automatically. So when I create a form, Google will automatically create a spreadsheet that collects all of the responses. So I can view the responses, which have nothing there, but you can see the questions will be at the top, and then this will begin to populate. So it'll give you the timestamp, it'll give you their name, and so those are all the questions. So then you can close that. And you can also go to View Live Form, and that'll show you what it looks like. And then my favorite part is Change Theme, and this is new. So they have templates that you can choose to make it cute. And they've had that, they have some new ones, but what I really like is that now you can customize it, so you can add your own header image. You can change the font, because sometimes, especially with the little guys, the font is hard to read because they have like weird G's or weird letters, whatever. So you can change all of that. You can change the form background and the page background. But what's also nice is that I can copy it from another one that I've already done. So say I've already created a Reader's Workshop template that I like, I can copy that over here. And I have one. So if I go choose, then I can choose this one. And it should copy it over. So you can see I've already created this header, and so it saves it for me, and it will just import it for me so I can use it again and again. And then when you want to send the form, you can go to Send Form, and then there's a link, which if you want the kids to access quickly, you can make a QR code to that link and post it on the smartboard, and they can scan it. You can also click Embed, and that gives you the embed code that you would post on Haiku, so that it would be in the content block, and you can change the size of it. A lot of times in Haiku, since the window is smaller, you want to make sure that the height is long enough that it fits the entire thing, because on an iPad, they can't scroll within a content block. And so you want to make sure that the height is super long so that it includes all of the questions, because there have been times where kids answer all the questions, but then they can't scroll to submit, and then the whole form is for nothing. So make sure that it's big enough, and you might want to look at it on an iPad too, just to make sure. So that is a form. So I can actually go over here, and I'll view it, and I'll put one in, and I'll just type. Okay, so this is required, so if I try to do submit, it won't let me because I haven't typed anything. So I'll type something there, submit, let me submit. It tells me my little message. And then if I go over for the teacher's view, let me go back to my form. You can see responses. There's one there already. It goes instantly. And I can view responses. And there it is. There's my data. Super fast and easy.